But I've called the talk Dangerous Games, and it echoes a quote from this gentleman, James McClelland, known far and wide as Diamond Jim, because he was a rather flamboyant former politician, but he was at the time that he made this quote, he was the president of the Royal Commission into British nuclear tests in Australia. And Royal Commissions are judicial inquiries. That's the name they have in Australia. They have a number of features that enable them to call evidence, and they are fully judicial inquiries. And he said that Australia became the oval on which Britain's nuclear game was to be played. It set some of the tone for the inquiry and indeed the report, and indeed the epic transcript, which is, I've lost count, 11,000 pages or something like that of transcript, where Diamond Jim was very much engaged in the questioning of witnesses, and the whole Royal Commission was a human drama played out over a number of months all around Australia, but also they took it to London. They had to, because some of the key British players were too old by then to travel. So they had to take the inquiry at huge expense to London. And at that time, Margaret Thatcher was the British Prime Minister, and the Royal Commission put a huge amount of pressure on her to release millions of files that had been kept secret. So the Royal Commission really opened things up, opened up a lot of the evidence. Until then, it had largely been closed. And Australia, extraordinarily, knew virtually nothing about what the British had actually done during the 1950s and 1960s on its territory. So the Royal Commission was damning. It was known as a spectacle of national revenge. It was a very, very angry Royal Commission, and it went on for a very long time, and it was covered extensively in the media. So just a quote from the Royal Commission report. The 1963 Vixen B trials brought to an end a drama characterised by persistent deception and paranoid secrecy. In their desire to avoid international repercussions, the British authorities embarked on a course of determined concealment of information from the Australian government. So the Australian government did not know what they did and what they left behind. So the process of uncovering the long-term effects of the British tests was started by whistleblowers in the 1970s, continued through journalistic investigation and the Royal Commission, and it continues to this day. Now, many British files are still closed, and historians and survivors find it difficult to get to the heart of everything that was done in Australia. We try, but the British government is a bit of an immovable object,